Hello friend, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Beth and an extra special welcome to my second annual fall baking marathon. I have been looking forward to this day for months because for the next few hours it's just going to be me and you baking the coziest autumn inspired baked goods together. We are going to be leaning into all of the flavors of fall. Think apple, pumpkin, cinnamon, nutmeg, and there are a number of recipes that we are going to be making together, including pumpkin butter, pecan pie, pumpkin donuts, pumpkin oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, as well as apple cider pull-apart bread. Does that not sound amazing? I am also going to be sharing all of the recipes that we make down in the description box so you can reference them again later, and I will also be putting timestamps down in the description box. So if there is a recipe that you want to revisit when you come back to bake these yourself, you can do that as well. If you are not feeling like you are in the fall mood yet, you will be by the end of this video. So let's get baking. For most of these recipes, I'm gonna film sequentially, but for the apple cider pull-apart bread, that dough needs to start proofing now. So let's start by making that and then we'll roll right into the pumpkin butter. This apple cider bread calls for a heaping cup of peeled and grated apple, and this one came straight from the orchard. So I'm gonna get that prepped to go into the dough now. Now to this bowl, I'm gonna add 2 cups of flour, a 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 1/4 teaspoons of quick rise yeast, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Now in this little microwave safe Pyrex, I have a 1/4 cup of water and a 1/4 cup of butter. I'm going to add 3/4 cup of 2% milk to that. And now I'm actually going to microwave this on high for 15-second increments until it reaches a temperature of about 120 to 130 Fahrenheit. I have got my butter and milk mixture at 120 Fahrenheit now. So I'm going to pour that into the flour mixture. I'm also going to add in my egg. Now we're gonna add our grated apple. And now we're gonna bring this over to the KitchenAid to do some of the work. You could also do this with an electric mixer, but I'm going to turn this on high to beat the mixture that I currently have for about 2 minutes. Now we're going to add in our remaining flour. So we have to add in at least 1 cup. And 1 final 1/4 cup. So for our apple cider pull-apart bread, there are 2 different rises that need to happen. So the first one has begun right now. I just finished kneading this, so I popped it back into the bowl with a towel over it for about 10 minutes. While that is happening, I'm going to prepare the filling for this bread. It's kind of like a ooey gooey cinnamon that's gonna go over top of it. Then I'm gonna let it rise for another 45 minutes and we will start working on some other recipes. So we're gonna do 1 cup sugar, a tablespoon of cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. We also have a 1/2 cup of melted butter. So the next stage in this recipe is to make what feels like these little cinnamon bun dough balls. They're gonna be so good. I'm going to be taking the dough here and dividing it into 36 different balls. To do that, I'm actually just gonna use this little kid's knife that I have, but any dough cutter or knife will work. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna dip the balls into the melted butter, roll them around in this little cinnamon sugar allspice mixture, and we're going to be placing them into this fluted tube pan. I actually just got this for this recipe. I'll link the one that I got off of Amazon in the description box. And the balls are going to finish rising inside this pan. Moving right along, we are going to be making a homemade pumpkin butter. Pumpkin butter can be used in so many different ways. You could spread it over toast. You could put it on a scone. You can use it to bake different recipes. You can use it in pancakes. So it's really nice to have it on hand, and it's very simple to make. I'm gonna start with a can of 100% pure pumpkin. Yes, you could go completely from scratch and do this by roasting your own pumpkin, but this is one of those conveniences in life for me that are just worth using. Next, we're gonna do a half a cup of real maple syrup, a third a cup of apple cider, a tablespoon of vanilla extract, a tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a half a teaspoon of salt. All we need to do now is give this a good stir over medium-high heat and let it sit on the stove for about 20 to 30 minutes, and we will have pumpkin butter. Next up, we are moving on to homemade pecan pie. Pecan pie is one of my absolute favorites, and yet I feel like it's not necessarily one that is often made in the fall. I think we often think pumpkin pie, apple pie. We are switching it up today, and the nice thing is that pecan pie is also incredibly easy to make. So we're gonna get started on a filling. We need 1 cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of light corn syrup, 3/4 a teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is a risky game I'm playing right now. Got it. 1/3 a cup of either softened or melted butter, 3 large eggs, and now I'm going to mix this with my standing mixer, but you could do it with an electric mixer as well. For the sake of timing, because I am making so many recipes today, I am going to be using an all butter crust that I prepped last night. You can make your own crust for this. I will put a recipe for a pie crust that I liked down in the description box. You could also just go to the store and get a pre-made pie shell as well to make things even easier for yourself. That would be the easiest way to make this pie. I'm not judging either way. You do what works for you. Next up, we are going to be making some baked pumpkin spice donuts. I love a baked donut. I prefer them to the crispier ones. I find that they're just softer and fluffier and a little bit healthier, which is nice. I really only ever make donuts in the fall, but my kids are always so excited when I do. So let's get started. Okay, so I have a bowl for dry ingredients and wet ingredients here, and I'm gonna start with 2 cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. And we're going to mix all those dry ingredients together and move on to the wet ingredients. So we'll need 3/4 a cup of brown sugar, a half a cup of granulated sugar, full can of 100% pure pumpkin. This one has 796 milliliters, so it's just slightly less than 15 ounces. And finally, we're going to do a half a cup of melted butter and 2 large eggs. Our first batch of pumpkin spice donuts has cooled, so let's make a cinnamon sugar topping. Next on the docket is our brown butter pumpkin oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. I am so excited about these. They sound amazing. The first thing that we are going to need to do is start by browning our butter. Now that our brown butter has cooled, I'm going to add 1 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2/3 a cup of our homemade pumpkin butter that we just made, 1 large egg, a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Give that a good mix. And now I'm gonna add right into the wet ingredients, my dry ingredients, so 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of oats, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, a half a teaspoon of salt, and the good stuff, lots and lots and lots of chocolate chips. It smells so good in here right now, but we have saved the best for last because now it is time to make the apple cider glaze for our apple cinnamon pull-apart bread. To make the glaze, we'll need 2 tablespoons of butter, 1/3 a cup of apple cider, about a tablespoon of heavy cream, a little pinch of salt, and 2 1/2 cups of icing sugar. Well, you guys, that is a wrap on my fall 2025 baking marathon. Thank you so much for spending the day with me in my kitchen today. We made 5 delicious recipes, and I have to say, I just snuck a bite of this pull-apart bread, and it is one of my favorite baked goods I have ever had. But I am curious which one of these recipes that we tried together today you are ready to try in your kitchen as well. I would also love to know if there are any other autumn-inspired baked goods that you will be making this this fall, feel free to drop those down in the comments section. There's still many weeks left to make some fall inspired treats. So thank you guys again for being here today. I hope that you are having the most incredible, coziest fall so far. If you liked this video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up before you head out today, and consider subscribing to my channel if you would love to see more videos like this. But until my next video, I love you guys, I'm praying for you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye!